This is a message calling all educators. If you are a teacher or a principal, if you're a counselor or a school social worker, a paraprofessional, a custodian, a bus driver, an administrative assistant, if you are a human being who serves the students and the families within your school community, then you are an educator, and this message is for you. My name is Michelle Trujillo, and I too served education as a teacher and a principal for over 25 years. I continue to serve as an author and a speaker and a professional learning facilitator. And over these last several weeks, my heart has been with you. I know there are so many of you out there who are feeling sad and frustrated and overwhelmed and disappointed in this moment. If you're feeling that way, I want you to know you're not alone. You want to be able to have closure with your students. I get that. You want to be able to celebrate graduation with the families and the students that are high school seniors. I understand that too. But I also know this. There are very few things within our control in this moment. But one of the things that we can control is how we move forward. Because as an educator, I want to remind you that you are also an igniter of hope. And your students and their families, they need for us as igniters of hope. They need for us to serve in this role more today than ever before. So this message is really to remind you of a few ways to ignite hope. First and foremost, we must remember the importance of believing intentionally in our students and in ourselves. Many of you know John Hattie's research. He has demonstrated that the leading influence on student learning is something called collective teacher efficacy. What that means, it's our belief as a group of educators in our students' ability to learn and our belief in ourselves to impact their learning. Well, we have this incredible opportunity to work with other educators, not just in our school buildings, but across the nation, across the globe, and with our families at home, to collaborate with them, to impact student learning. Our students can and will, and they are learning in this moment. And it's not just the academic lessons that we're preparing. Those lessons are important. They're going to learn those. But they're learning life lessons too. We've got to believe in them intentionally. Tell them why we believe that they can learn in this moment. And when we do that, we'll ignite hope. The second way to ignite hope in this moment is to have a human mind frame. We must believe there is a story behind every student. Just like we know that there's a child behind every test score and a human being behind every behavior. Well, in this moment, there may be a story in the lives of some of our students that we don't quite understand. We may be frustrated because kids may not be showing up for our virtual classrooms. Maybe they're not handing in homework. We've got to ask ourselves, what's the story there? Some of our students in the typical school year are just fighting to survive. Well, this situation has brought on challenges for some families that are beyond some of our imagination. We have to ask ourselves, how do I reach out? How do I let that kid know that I'm still here, that I still care? We want our kids to know that we want them in our virtual classrooms, but first and foremost, we want to know that they're okay. And we want them to know that we are still here for them. So pick up the phone if you haven't already done that. Write a letter and put a stamp on it and mail it to the last known address. Let's do everything we can to remember to have a human mind frame. When we do that, when we start with the human being, we ignite hope. And finally, we ignite hope when we remember to stay emotionally connected. I really think that this term social distancing, it's done us a disservice across our nation really and across the globe. What we've really found is we're more connected globally than ever before. We need to remember to stay emotionally connected because when we do this, we can better work together. We keep hearing the terms better together, stronger together, and it's true. But we must stay together. And we can do that by practicing gratitude, by letting people know what it is that we appreciate about them, by sharing joy. There is joy to be found in this moment. Let's seek it and then let's share it out. When we do that, we can stay emotionally connected. When we do this, we ignite hope. You are an educator. You're an igniter of hope. So I want you to know in this moment, you are valued. You're appreciated. And I encourage you to go out there virtually and ignite hope within this day and with every day that comes. Because schools, buildings might be closed, but hearts and minds need not be. Let's remember to be igniters of hope.